Recently, I've always had to check myself, and there's a lot of things that I need to work on that I don't have the proper tools to deal with. And other people have the tools to help me. So I had to say, I need therapy. I need therapy real bad. Welcome back to NTheRealestWay Podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode, I'm going to talk about the importance of what's the solution. And when we ask ourselves that, are we really looking for the solution for our lives? And it's not just like it's one solution for every problem. Sometimes there's minor issues, small issues that come together to make a big change. But when I say what's the solution, we sabotage a lot of what's going on in our lives. Recently, I had to reflect on that. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm really sabotaging my own life right now. I say in my mind, in my spirit, I tell myself, I truly believe that I want to create a successful life for myself. But when I look at the things that are going on in my physical, they don't align. I'm speaking these things, I'm feeling these things, but when I'm living outside, I'm not living any of the things that I'm saying. What's the solution? You're not going to see the things that you want physically be born in your life, literally living what you're saying, if you're not applying what you're saying into your life. What's the solution? Think about it. Really think about what you're applying in your life and what you're saying that you want. We can use examples, okay? You want to be an entrepreneur, okay? You want to be one. You're not studying how to become one. You're not doing the necessary things in your physical. You're just saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. I feel like I could be one, but you're not doing it. You're not looking at the people who are successful, trying to understand what they did. What could you do to maybe become something more similar to how they became successful? You're not doing that. You're not doing any of that. On your free time, you're playing video games, you're going out with your friends, you're eating out. All of these things are fun. It's the meaning of life to live and enjoy yourself. But when it comes to having something physical outside of what you have right now, something has to change. You can't keep living the same life that you're living right now and expect everything to make sense and it just to happen like, I want this to happen, so it's going to happen. But do you truly want it is the question. Are you willing to do the things that a lot of people aren't doing? It's easy. That's why everybody does it. It's so easy. There was a sign outside of Camp Casey that says something is like doing what's easy. It was some, I can't even remember what it was because it didn't make any sense. They always try to find a way to make something make sense and manipulate you to thinking it was. But basically they were saying anything that is good for you, anything that is better for you is always harder to do. Or I don't know what they were saying, but anyway, I shouldn't even brought that up because it really got me, heated a little bit. Because every time you walk out, you see the sign. It's like you're telling these people to do this, but it's not the case. It's not the case. Okay. Something about doing what's easier. It could be, I don't know what the people were talking about. They just be doing anything. But go back to intentional, thinking about what you're doing and how a lot of people aren't successful because they're not willing to let go of the things that are holding them back. And it comes from the environments that you're in. It comes from what you're doing on a daily basis. What are you allowing in your life? You have to live what you believe so that you can see it come into fruition. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. I'm just, I came back from resting. I did the best I could. I was trying to be as intentional as I could be with resting. That's what I wanted. That was a solution to a big issue that was in my life. I didn't know when to stop and when to rest. And I gave a lot of things too much power. You know, I talked about that before. If you haven't listened to the previous podcast episodes, it all comes together when you see what I'm saying now, because I tie everything together. Sometimes intentionally, sometimes it's not intentional. But either way, go back. Go listen to some of them. It really comes together. But what I was saying was, we give a lot of things a lot of power. We let the things that we shouldn't allow to have control over us. And bigger issues that aren't bigger issues than what we think they are, they have to become something that affects our entire life. We make a mistake, that's our entire life right there. Ain't no fixing it. Ain't no solving it. That's what it is. You made a mistake and that's you. But that's not the case. You're human. You're gonna make mistakes. And I made a reel recently that I'm gonna post. And I was talking about how we're not willing to experience life and go through it, and we give up at the earliest inconvenience. Like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. So when we record our first vlog and it doesn't become as successful, or we're stuck editing because we don't know how to do it correctly, and all these things that come with editing, we give up at the earliest inconvenience. You don't know what could have happened. You don't know how successful you could have became after your 5th vlog, your 5th YouTube video. You want to make music, you give up. There's been so many people who people told them in the physical to affect their mental. You can't do this. We don't like your music. Your music is not gonna get the streams that you think it's gonna get. People aren't gonna enjoy your music. They told SZA that her music was not for them, and that they were, stop sending us your music. We do not want your music over here. Please stop sending it. That didn't make her stop. Look how successful she is right now. People told her in her physical to affect her mental, to affect her spiritual, that she can't achieve what she knew that she could achieve. And don't get me wrong, there's gonna be days where you feel like, I am so tired of this. I'm so angry. I'm so exhausted. I just want to give up. There's gonna be days where it's tough, but that's what makes it all worth it. Allowing yourself to go through something and just fully be intentional with what you're feeling and what you're going through. You're having a bad day, be intentional. Like, what caused me to have a bad day? And am I going to allow it to make the rest of my life? What's the solution? You know, recently, I'm very self-aware of a lot of the issues that I have going on in my life. I'm trying my best every day to check myself for other people, because again, I don't live in this world myself. This isn't just my life, right? I contribute to other people. What I do on a daily basis, if I say hello to somebody, that can affect the rest of their life. If I tell somebody, go yourself, that means that we have the power to affect each other. And how you affect somebody else could be how they affect somebody else. So be intentional with who you are and how you show up for yourself and for the rest of the world, because we live together. We're human beings. We cannot survive by ourselves. We cannot survive by ourselves. We have to have community. We have to have each other. Even when everything seems like it doesn't mean anything. When you look out in the world and you see people suffering and going through so much tragedy every day, so much injustice, the things that truly make me cry and make me happy and give me just, when I feel like giving up on humanity sometimes, I see other people, even though they're going through so much, they haven't given up yet. They're out there living. They're out there smiling. They're out there just doing the best that they can for not just themselves, but for other people too. So that's why it's important to check yourself when you wake up. How are you feeling? Oh, I don't feel so. I have a little irritation. Something's bothering me. You may not be able to solve it, but the best way to go to a solution is to do your best with handling it. It may not be a solution that eradicates the problem, but it may be a solution that helps not just you, but other people. If I'm a little irritated, I'm a little overstimulated. So I gotta watch what I say right now. I gotta be cautious of what I'm saying because I don't want to affect and I don't want to hurt anybody unintentionally, or sometimes it may be intentional because of what I'm going through. But I just want to be deliberate with what I'm doing so I understand how I'm showing up for the rest of the world. And it's not an ego thing. We look at it like, okay, well, why do I have to do this for other people? Why not? Why not? The very of who we are is to give. We give. It's not to take. We take so much. We look at things all the time and we're like, well, what can I get from this? Yes, it's important to get something out of what you're doing, but don't look at every experience as a transaction of, oh, I see what you have, so I want it. And there's nothing in return of, okay, well, I did this for you. And it's like, okay, well, let's not look at it that way. Let's not look at it that way. So recently, I've always had to check myself, and there's a lot of things that I need to work on that I don't have the proper tools to deal with. And other people have the tools to help me. So I had to say, I need therapy. I need therapy real bad. I don't want to be a reason why I suffer from things that I can heal from, that I can not become, again, like I said on previous podcast episodes, when you're healing, you're not trying to become the version of yourself that you were before. That person is gone. And it's not a bad thing. And I'm not saying it's good that you suffered, but you're no longer that version of yourself that you were. So when I see I need to heal, I just look at all the times where I didn't have the proper tools and I had only what I saw from the world and what I was given at the time. And I did the best I could and I hurt people. I don't want to hurt people like that ever again. Again, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to hurt people, but not intentionally. I'm going to do the best I can to heal, to be the best version of myself. I need therapy. I need somebody to say, hey, I know what you're going through. I feel what you're going through. And here's a way, and here's a solution, a small solution to a bigger problem. Because trauma is like, it's different, okay? People think that trauma doesn't okay, I had an experience when I was younger, and that's what it was, and that's it. It doesn't bother me anymore, it doesn't affect me anymore, but it does. Anyway, Jesus, they was banging on the door, trying to give somebody a sandwich. I'm like, I am making a podcast, please, be quiet. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. The first time there was boom, 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 boom. I was like, okay, girl, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to ignore it and just keep going. But they just kept banging. I was like, oh my goodness, let me go see. Because I thought it was my door. But Lord, that messed up my whole train of thought. Oh my goodness. So what's the solution? What's the solution? Apply that to your life. Think about how what you're doing is affecting other people and yourself. Because we talk about how we want these things to happen in our lives. So I want this and I want that. But we're not actually doing the necessary things that are going to get us to the place that we want to be. Okay? Also, make your life easier. If you know that you having this level of not just success, I mean, yes, success in who you want to become, But just being a better version of who you are, you're not going to allow people in your life to take away from those experiences and things that you're trying to become. So having people who are like-minded like you is very crucial when you're trying to elevate yourself. Because if you're around people who are saying, well, you're changing and you think you're better than everybody else, you think that what you're doing, you're gonna, it's like, go ahead and remove yourself from those kind of people, because it's not gonna help you get to where you want to become or where you want to become. Think about it for real. Really think about it. When you look at, okay, now I'm in a place in my mind where I can speak about the physical. I can talk about the physical things. I can talk about the physical and it's showing up in my life, but I have people in my life where, you know what? They're not helping me. If anything, they're bringing me back down to where I was before. You got to remove yourself from those people. You have to. It's the environment that you're laying out. I'll give an example. You have a beautiful garden. You're planting the seeds. You want these tall coconut trees, right? Them trees be tall, okay? You want these tall coconut trees and you want this out here. You want these kind of flowers and these plants. But every time you go out there and you're with your friends or people you hang around, they chopping down your coconut tree. Oh, it's too tall. Why are you doing this and why are you doing that? Why are you trying to change it up? Be who you were before. Be that version of who you were. No. Sometimes you got to let them go. They are an invasive species in your environment. Okay? You need to allow them to leave so you can find people who are, you know what? I like them coconut trees. I like me some coconuts. I must stay and I'm going to keep it. And when I said that, it just brought up another conversation about people and how we're allowing them to control our lives. We allow people to just control our entire lives. Knowing that the environment that you're in right now is not the environment that you're going to have forever. And you're going to go through seasons of change with different people. This person is going to show up in your life and you're going to think that this is going to be my forever person. There's been moments I'm like, this right here, this is my best friend. This is my best friend forever. No. Soon as I got into a different environment and we got into a different environment of high school, we both had to go our separate ways. We just had to. We no longer had the same intentions about life. I don't think we ever did. So when you understand that, being put in positions of staying in the same small hometown, it's not going to give you opportunities to grow sometimes. You got to be willing to go out there and say, you know what? I want to see the world. I want to go out there and experience life in a different way. And they may not want to experience it the way that you want to experience it. But does that mean you just stop and you just let me go where they go? Let me follow where they follow? At the end of the day, when I think about the life that I want, and if I was to just pass away tomorrow, I truly want to have said and believed it truly that I did what I wanted to do and what was best for me, what's best for myself. That's what I want. Okay? I don't mind having regrets sometimes because things happened. These things that happened to me are moments of lessons. But I don't want to experience these things and be like, but child, them people banging on that door done messed up my whole mojo, my whole thing I had going on. I was doing so good. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the it podcast. This right here is the one. Okay. I mean, it's still doing its thing, but they done messed up the mojo I had going on. I had everything how I wanted it. it was perfecto. Okay, perfecto. But again, it's coming closer, y'all. Every podcast episode, I'm getting closer and closer and closer to. I don't know how it's going to be when I go back to the States because I'm in South Korea right now. I don't know how it's going to be. I'm excited. Sometimes I'm like, I done forgot really. I done forgot how it is really. You know, you live somewhere so long in the same environment that you forget that there's an outside of what you have right now. So I just got to get in the mindset of just going out and being okay with moving, being okay with change and not being still. This is not all of who I am. I have so much. I'm going to look back on this moment and be like, this wasn't all of who I was and all that I had in me. I have so much more deep down in the depths of myself. But in order to find who you are, you got to look again about what's the solution. What's the solution to these everyday problems that are going on in my life? And it may not be just one big solution. Maybe sometimes it is cutting somebody off that is affecting you, your mental and your spiritual. They are causing you harm. That's simple. You got to remove them out your life. But sometimes life ain't that simple. It got to be small solutions for a bigger problem. And we look at life in the political climate and we're like, okay, well, there's got to be this one solution for everything. And it's not the case. Small solutions, okay, for a bigger problem. So, yeah. So like I said, I am getting therapy. I'm getting therapy. It's really weird, the time zones, but it's going to be on Thursday for them. So it's going to be on, I don't know what day it's going to be for me, either Wednesday or another time on Thursday, but I'm going to figure it out. I expect this session to be one of many, of an experience and a way of solving my own trauma. You know, there's probably some things that I even forgot happened because I wasn't truly ready to go through it. But I'm back. I've had a little time to rest, to recover, to go out and live a life that nobody told me I had to go do. You know, when I woke up on vacation, I decided what I wanted to do. I want to do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to do what makes me happy. And regardless of the consequence, whether good or bad, I decided to do it. And I was very intentional with resting. Oh, I tried my best. I got a long ways to go, but I tried my best. So I just want to close that off with this podcast episode. When you're going through these new seasons and new environments, you're going to stumble, you're going to make mistakes, but be willing to continue on no matter what. Don't allow people to tell you how to live your life because they don't know what's best for you. Only you and God. Okay? So like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the utmost, to the highest power, God. I am truly, truly grateful for my friends and my family. Thank you so much. This is TheRealestWay Podcast. Out.